Good day, economics today, students. So today I just want to explain some basic concepts within the IS-LM graph in chapter 3. Okay, so please pay attention and see if you understand it. Again, this is not a replacement for a lecture or just the important stuff for a test. It's just basics that I try to explain to you so it's easy for you to understand. Okay. Now let's start with the Keynesian transmission mechanism, the free graphs you did in chapter 3, which are also a video on. Okay, this is the basic transmission mechanism, and the reason why I started this is because you can derive the IS-LM, not arrive it, but you can see the IS-LM within these free graphs. So what is the IS-LM model basically? It's just a model that takes all of these free graphs and put it into one diagram or one graph. Okay, so let me show you how this works. So you all know that this is your money side, your money sector. We all know that this is your real sector. Now what an IS-LM does is it takes the real side and the monetary side and it puts it on one graph. Now let's take one variable, the important variable from the monetary side, and one variable from the real side, and put it on one diagram. Okay, so draw your axe or your skeleton, and we'll put interest rates, which is from the monetary side here, and income, which is from the real side here. These are the two variables that represents your monetary sector and the variable that represents your real sector. Then we just simply put in our LM line, and we put in our IS line, and voila, there we have it, the IS-LM graph. You took the IS from these two graphs. When you look at deriving the IS, you'll get them from these two graphs, and you get your LM graph from the monetary sector. Okay, that's again the easy way to remember it. M stands for money. So this is the money side, and IS is then the real. Okay. So this is the basic IS-LM graph, and you need to know how to derive it using the different methods within your textbook. But what is the purpose of this model? The purpose of this model is to show how does a shock influence this model. Okay? A shock, as we've come to know, is seen in a monetary or fiscal policy. These are the two shocks you can get. You can either get a monetary shock or a fiscal policy shock. Now, the word shock is difficult, but it just shows you that there's going to be a shock on the original equilibrium diagram, and it's going to actually shift away or shift backwards. Okay? Again, draw your zero here so you know either you're going to shift closer to zero or you're going to move away from zero with the increase or decrease. So let's take an example. Let me give you a question, and let's say that the government decides to reduce spending. Okay? Using an IS-LM graph, show on the diagram how this will translate in the economy. G decreases, which is government spending. So now you just identify which one of these two curves then should shift. Okay? You know from your theory that government spending is in your real side. Here it is. So your real sector should be influenced. Your real line is shown by the IS line, or is represented by IS. So you know your IS line should shift, firstly. Secondly, which side should it shift? Should it shift upwards or downwards, closer to zero or further away from zero? While a decrease in government spending will decrease your income, and actually will decrease your IS line. So your IS line will shift closer to zero. Okay? That's second. Now, from the graph, you can answer all your questions, because you can now see what happened to interest rates and what happened to income. You can see that interest rates decreased and income decreased. So both interest rates and income decreases with an IS graph shifting backwards. Okay. So shifting closer to zero. So that's one example. Another example, I can tell you taxes decrease. taxes decrease, what happens? Your IS line, so tax decrease. Tax decreases, what happens to your IS line? Your IS line will shift outwards because that's an expansionary policy. So it's either being a restrictive fiscal policy or an expansionary fiscal policy that will shift your IS curve, always. If it's a monetary policy, it will shift your LM curve. So let's do an example for that one. So here you have your interest rates again, you have your income again, and you have your LM line, and you have your IS line. Now let's take a monetary policy, either restrictive or expansionary. Let me say that the Reserve Bank decides to increase the repo rate. From theory in chapter 9, you know that the increase in the repo rate is a restrictive monetary policy. If it restricts the economy, it's going to influence either the IS or LM line. You know from your theory that it's going to influence only the LM line because that's a monetary policy. So the restrictive monetary policy will shift the LM line closer to zero. Okay? So you decrease your LM line, and again from the graph, just draw your equilibrium points quickly. From the graph you can see that this restrictive policy has increased interest rates, which is consistent with theory. If you just think about it, the restrictive policy, interest rates increases because of the increase in the repo rate, and then you can see that there's a decrease in your income from Y1 to Y2. Okay, which is also consistent with restrictive policy because any restrictive monetary policy will decrease your income. And exactly the same conclusions you made in a Keynesian transmission mechanism in chapter 3 you can make here in the IS-LM. Why? Because the IS-LM is just an extension or a simplification of the Keynesian transmission mechanism. So everything starts with the Keynesian transmission mechanism, and we just simplify it on one diagram with the LM representing your money market and your IS represented by your real market. So the explanation stays the same, the reasons stay the same, the only thing that changes is we go now to one graph. Again, I can tell you expansionary monetary policy, let's take an example. I can tell you the reserve requirements decrease. If the reserve requirements decrease, banks can lend out more money. So what happens to the LM curve? The LM curve will shift outwards, and that will increase income and decrease interest rates. Okay. So these are the basic cases you can get in your model. So these are the basic cases you can get in your model. Very important to know them. So this is the basics. Now, something you also have to know is policy effectiveness. The policy effectiveness has to do with the slope of these lines. So you need to look at the slope of these lines to see how effective some policies might be and might not be. Okay? There's good examples in your textbooks of this, and it's something that you can go and study on your own and also look up on your own. Okay? So really go into detail with this section because the IS-LM curve is very important for chapter 4, and it continues even in chapter 6 to some degree. So the theory behind it remains the same. So I hope you understand it now a little bit better, maybe just the basics of it, but these are the type of things you should know and types of understandings you should make before you go into detail in this chapter, and this is the basics behind it. Again, this is not the important things for a test or an exam, it's just me trying to explain some of the basics for students who want to watch the video a couple of times and follow it with me. Okay, thank you very much, and I will give you a video on chapter 4 as soon as possible.